Hello students, today we are going to start the next chapter of the subject Science A, that is microorganism. Before starting this chapter, let me tell you this is a part of unit 1, that is food only. So we'll be starting this chapter of microorganism. Now students, in this chapter, let's first discuss one thing. क्या आपको लगता है at this moment I am present alone? क्या मैं यहाँ अकेली हूँ? आपको बोलोगे कि यस मैम आप अकेले ही खड़े हो इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस, बट स्टूडेंट्स यू नो मेरे साथ अभी मिलियंस ऑफ बीइंग्स हैं साथ में, एंड दिस मिलियंस ऑफ बीइंग्स we'll be studying about that. These millions of beings and thousands of millions जो यहाँ पे हैं, they are called microorganisms. Okay? हमारे वर्ल्ड में इतने सारे लोग हैं ना, like we have so much animals and birds and plants, but these all are visible to us. Our blue whale is the largest mammal. Elephant, so they can be very much clearly seen from our eyes. They are very small insects also, like your worms, your earthworms, your roundworms, your tapeworms. So they are very small in size also. Your butterflies, your cockroaches, and these flies, mosquitoes. These are insects. But you know, इनसे भी छोटी beings होते हैं हमारे world में. They are called microorganisms. So about them we will be studying in this chapter of your subject. Now, we'll be discussing various types of microorganism. There are 5 types of microorganism we'll be discussing here, and what are the harmful effects and what are the usefulness of this microorganism are to us. Then we'll be discussing about this food preservations, and we'll be discussing about this vaccines and antibiotics. Okay, so this will be completed in your chapter microorganism. Now students, the living organism is a place or where it's where different types of organism live in different types of habitat. You know, some may be found in air, some may found in water, some may found on land, soil. Everywhere we can find a living being or a living organism. Okay, they are present in deep oceans also, in streams also, in polar regions also. So this microorganism can be present everywhere. You know students, the soil that is your wraith or the sand, it contains around 50 million types of bacteria other than other microbes. Bacteria is one type of microorganism. It's classified under the category of microorganism. It's 50 million types of bacteria हो सकते हैं soil में और other microbes के अलावा भी. So you can see that how much big is their world of microorganism is there. Okay, you know this microorganisms, the bacterium. Bacteria is a plural, bacterium is a singular, and protozoans, they have this hard outer covering. And this hard outer covering is called cyst. What it is called? It's called cyst. And you know students, अगर favorable condition होगी, so the microorganism can came out from the cyst and they can grow into full-fledged organism and they can start their reproduction. That is, they can continue to multiply and continue their life cycles. Okay, so this is our cyst. Now students, you know, the science in which we study about this microorganism, it's called microbiology. Micro means small, bio means life, and longest means study. So the study of small life, that is study of microorganism, is called microbiology. Okay, so we'll be discussing about the world of this microorganism, which is invisible to us, but it's very much present. Okay, now the first heading is study of microorganism. That is, we'll be discussing how we come to know about this microorganisms. बच्चा इतने छोटे हैं, हम हमारी naked eye से तो इन्हें देख ही नहीं सकते. So how come we came to know कि भाई ऐसे एक small beings होती हैं जो हमारे around every time present है. Okay, so what happens? They are extremely small. They are small as 0.00001 mm. इतना छोटा से भी होते हैं ये. So they have this diameter, and you can imagine this is your 1 centimeter. Okay, students. this is your one. I think ये भी बहुत बड़ा है. Let me draw this. So this is your 1 centimeter, okay? And this 1 centimeter has 10 mm's. So you can imagine कि कितना smallest diameter होता है in microorganisms का. So आप इन्हें देख ही नहीं सकते. You cannot see them from your naked eyes. So how come we came to know about them? You know, in 1677, there was one Dutch scientist, and the name of this Dutch scientist was Antonio van Leeuwenhoek. He just made his own, self-made. He made his crudely, like he designed his own microscope. Okay, and what he do? Under that microscope, he take a drop of pond water. So क्या किया? Pond की water की drop ली, and he saw that drop of water under the self-made crude microscope, and you know what he come to find out? That under that drop of water, he came to know that there are some organism which we cannot see, but they are moving, and they are around this water, and he named this small organism as microorganisms. So he was the person who has given this term of microorganism to these small beings, because micro means small and organism means living body. Okay, so he was the person who discovered the existence of microorganisms. Okay, students. Now after this, microorganisms को हम microbes भी कह सकते हैं. Okay, I will be referring very types by microbes, so please don't be confused. Microbes and microorganism are the same terms. Okay, like humans and human beings. Okay, so you can use any term. Now students, after this, many other microbes were discovered after the advancement of this advanced technology. जैसे जैसे आपकी माइक्रोस्कोप की टेक्नोलॉजी और इंक्रीज होती गई, भाई उसने सेल्फ में बनाई थी, और अच्छी बनी, कंपाउंड्स बनी, सिंपल माइक्रोस्कोप्स डिजाइन हुई, तो हमने ये जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स जिन्हें हम सिर्फ ऐसे हिलते हुए देख रहे थे, we come to know about their structures also, कि वो इनरली कैसे दिखते हैं. So we come to know about many types of things, and how this microorganism impact our human life also, and what are the causes and what are the diseases that are caused by these microorganisms. Okay, they have positive effect also, they have negative effect also. Now students, there is an activity given in your book. It's a very fun activity. Actually, it's an activity, not you can become your own scientist like this Antonio van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, what you will be doing, the aim of this activity is to observe a microorganism in pond water. Just take one thing, take a microscope, take a glass slide और a filter paper and a glass tumbler. एक पॉन्ड को वाटर लीजिए कहीं से भी, जहाँ पे भी आपको पॉन्ड दिख रहा हो, क्लियर दैट, फिल्टर आउट दैट वाटर, सारी इम्प्योरिटीज हटा दीजिए. ठीक है, अब एक ड्रॉपर से एक ड्रॉप लीजिए वाटर की, उसे ग्लास स्लाइड पे लगाइए and put it under the microscope and see what type of microorganism, or you either they are microorganism or not. So you know, you will be amazed कि कोई भी pond water लेंगे, you will be finding out this microorganism live in the pond water. Okay, so what will your observation and conclusion will be? That you will be observing many tiny microorganisms floating or moving in it. Okay, microorganisms are found almost in all kinds of habitats. Okay, they can be found in everywhere. Okay, and this huge variety of microorganisms can be classified under like this. I'm drawing the chart for you. Okay, let me draw the chart. Microorganisms. Okay, so they are classified as first, they are classified as bacteria, then algae, then it is fungi, then protozoans, then viruses. Okay, so these are the 5 categories of microorganisms. Okay, bacteria and other examples of bacteria. There's a chart given in your, there's a table, or you can say image given in your book of this table. So the example of bacteria is 1. Streptococcus. Okay. Coccus. Okay. Second example is of your chloria, and the third example is lactobacillus. Similarly, algae के भी examples दिए हुए हैं. What are the example of algae? Oscillatoria, volvox, blue-green algae. Okay, so I'll be just reading out the examples for you. Fungi के examples है yeast, moles and mushrooms. Okay, protozoans के examples है amoeba, paramecium and plasmodium. And the third, the viruses examples are AIDS virus, polio virus, chickenpox virus. Okay, now we'll be doing one more thing, that the scientists which are related to the discovery of various type of microorganism or who have contributed in the field of this microbiology or microorganisms. Okay, so we'll be discussing about them. Okay, students. Now, first, you know this A.V. Leeuwenhoek. You know that he first established the existence of bacteria. That is, he first discovered the microorganisms. Second one is Louis Pasteur. You know, he was famous for the discovery of fermentation and the pasteurization techniques, and also famous as the father of bacteriology. Okay? Fermentation and pasteurization both बच्चा ये microorganism की ही processes हैं. That how fermentation is caused by bacteria or this microorganism, and how this pasteurization is used so that the microorganism do not affect your milk products. Okay. Now F.J. Cohan, he studied about the bacteria in detail under a compound microscope. मैंने आपको बताया था microscopes भी आई जैसे जैसे advance हुआ technology में. So he studied about the bacteria in detail. Now, there is a next scientist, that is Dmitry Ivanov. He was a Russian scientist and he first discovered viruses in the year 1892. Now, the next scientist which is given in your book is W.M. Stanley, and he first discovered the isolated tobacco mosaic virus in the crystalline form. Okay. Now, the next scientist is Edward Jenner, and Edward Jenner, he played a major role in the formation of vaccination. Next scientist is your Alexander Fleming, and Alexander Fleming, he was known to discover penicillin. Okay. Now, there is next scientist which is called Sir Ronald Ross, and he reported that the malaria parasite is transmitted through Anopheles mosquitoes. Okay, he was the person who discovered that this malaria viruses or this malaria parasite is, I'm sorry, this is not virus, malaria parasite is transmitted through a mosquito which is called Anopheles mosquitoes. Okay, so this is about the scientist which is related to microorganism or to the field of microbiology. Now we will be discussing the next heading. Okay, so the next heading is, the next heading is your bacteria. Okay. Now we'll be discussing about this bacteria. Some bacteria such as saprophytic bacteria which are useful and which break down the dead bodies of plants and animals. Okay. They consume this animal feces and other waste materials as their food. Hence, they are called decomposers also. Some bacteria grow in the medium of oxygen and are called aerobic bacteria. And there are some bacteria which grow in the absence of oxygen. They are called anaerobic bacteria. Now we'll be classifying this bacteria on the basis of their shape and their structure. Okay. The first type of bacteria is your coccus or round shaped bacteria. Okay, students? So this is first type of bacteria which is classified on the type of shape and structure. Now, this coccus or this round shaped bacteria, as the name suggests, ये क्या होते हैं? They are spherical in shape and are called coccus, or you can say cocci. Cocci in plural. It is in plural, okay? And the example of this coccus or the round-shaped bacteria are a streptococcus. You know, streptococcus is a bacteria which causes pneumonia also. So which bacteria or which microorganism causes pneumonia? Pneumonia is caused by a bacteria, and the name of the bacteria is streptococcus. Okay? I'm clear on this topic. Now the next type of bacteria is your bacillus. Bacillus, or it is also called rod shaped bacteria. Now bacha, as the name suggests, the shape of this bacteria is in rod, in the form of rod, and they are also called bacillus. Okay. Now, you know, this bacteria, this bacillus bacteria, they may have or they may not have a flagella. What is flagella? कोई bacteria मान लीजिए, this is your bacteria, and this bacteria may having this tail. This is called flagella, okay, which is useful for moving and movement from one place to another. So bacillus की में flagella हो भी सकता है, flagella नहीं भी हो सकता है, okay? And you know, this type of bacteria also causes certain types of dangerous disease in humans, like tuberculosis, diphtheria, tetanus, leprosy is caused by this type of bacteria, that is bacillus bacteria. You know, this bacillus typhosus, okay? What is the name of the bacteria? Bacteria name is Bacillus typhosus, or the another name of this bacteria is Salmonella enterica. This bacteria causes typhoid. So typhoid is also caused by a bacteria, and the name of the bacteria is Bacillus typhosus. Now the third type of bacteria is your Spirillum. Spirillum or Vibrio shaped bacteria. As the name suggests, that this bacteria is in the form of spiral, okay, and they are also called as corkscrew shaped or comma shaped bacteria, okay. Now these type of bacteria, they may have one or more cilia or flagella, okay, and on their body surfaces. And the example of this type of bacteria is your Vibrio chlorella, and this Vibrio chlorella causes cholera. Okay, cholera is a disease which is caused by this bacteria. Okay, you can see there is an image given in your book of the different types of viruses. Of different types of bacteria, that like of tuberculosis bacteria, of typhoid, cholera, pneumonia, and diphtheria. So, and they are all seen under the microscope, okay? कोई naked eye से नहीं है, सारे हमने microscope के अंदर देखे हैं. So these are all the bacteria which causes different types of diseases. Now there is an activity given in your book to check the effect of temperature on the bacterial growth. You know, students, simple thing. You just take 3 bowls of milk. One milk should be cold in nature, one should be warm, and another one should be hot. and you just take a sample of your curd or your yogurt and a microscope and a glass slide. Now what you will be doing, name this 3 ball as A, B and C. Okay, suppose in the A ball there's hot milk, in the B it's cold, and the C it's warm. So what you will be seeing, and you will be adding a small amount of yogurt in all the 3 bowls. So what you will be seeing, students, you will be seeing that after stir it and mix it well and leave it for 5 to 7 hours. Okay, now what you will be seeing, okay, you will be seeing that in the first milk that is labeled as hot, what will be happening, this hot milk will not change into this yogurt, okay, and it will not change into yogurt. And in the cold and the warm, so let's talk about the C1. Warm जो bowl था, C category, C named का, it will change into curd and it will form the yogurt. But B वाले में भी yogurt बन जाएगा, but it will take a longer period of time. So you'll see that the temperature depends on the bacterial growth. That is, if the bacteria can grow under a suitable types of temperature. Hot temperature में bacterial growth नहीं हो सकती. Because बच्चा होता क्या है yogurt में? Yogurt में bacterias होते हैं, and these bacterias they can multiply under favorable conditions only. और in favorable condition B ball और C ball में ही मिली थी, not in the A ball. Okay? So this is about this activity which is given in your books. Okay, students? Now we will be discussing the uses of bacteria. That is, there are different types of uses of bacteria are also there. Now students, first use of bacteria, which is a nitrogen fixation. I have told you about this rhizobium bacteria. This rhizobium bacteria, what he do, he fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil and helps the plants or helps the plant to grow by providing certain types of nutrients, that is, provide nitrate nutrients to it. Okay. Now students, there is a fact side given in your book. You know, this bacteria play a very important role in your genetic engineering also. You know, diabetes is a disease, and you have, I think most probably आप सब लोग diabetes disease के बारे में सब जानते हैं, जैसे हम common language में we Indians call as sugar की बीमारी है ना. So this diabetes is a disease which is caused in the patients whose pancreas is a part of your body, okay, it's a part of your digestive system, and this pancreas, they do not produce insulin. A very little insulin is produced or no insulin is produced. So what happens, this insulin can be made with the help of a bacteria, and that can be used to treat diabetic patient. So that's how bacteria can help you in medicines also. Now the second use of bacteria is, you know, decay of plants and animal waste. As I've told you, there are some bacteria which are called decomposers, which can decompose the faeces and the other waste materials of plants and animals. Okay, so they produce this humus which increase the fertility of your soil, and it also adds a texture to the soil. Okay. The third is food production. You know, lactobacillus bacteria. What is lactobacillus bacteria? This lactobacillus bacteria is present in your curds and yogurts. Okay, curd yogurts आप जो भी कहते हैं, आपका जो दूध है वो दही कैसे बनता है? Due to the presence of this lactobacillus bacteria. Okay, and it also helps in the process of fermentations. Okay. And bacteria are also used in the production of coffee, tea and cocoa beans. Now, next fourth use of this bacteria is digestion in animals. You know, bacha, there is a bacteria with the name of this bacteria is E. coli. You know, E. coli is present in the intestine of human and herbivorous animals, which helps in the digestion of food. Now, the fifth one is industries. Now, industries, bacteria is useful in industries also. There are many uses of bacteria. First use of bacteria in industry is they help to make the tender. मतलब जो meat industries होती है, जहाँ meat की packaging की जाती है, there जो bacteria को insert किया जाता है meat में, जिससे कि जो meat है वो tender बन जाए, that is soft बन जाए. So जिससे कि क्या हो, टैनिंग, जो स्किन्स होती है ना उनकी टैनिंग निकल जाए, जिससे कि आपकी लेदर, जैसे आप लेदर क्लोथ्स पहनते हैं क्रोकोडाइल स्किन के और डियर स्किन के, so tanning of skin is possible to produce leather. Next is it helps to produce wine and vinegar. Next is help in the production of industrial chemicals and citric acids. You know, there are linen fibers. आप जानते टाइप का material होता है linen. So if the fiber of linen can be drawn from the flax plant by the process called retting. अब ये retting process आपको पता है क्या होता है? What happens? The bacteria is made to enter into the stem of this plant. Flax plant की stem में हम bacterias डाल देते हैं और वो क्या करता है, बैक्टीरिया धीरे धीरे उसके स्टेम्स के जो टिश्यूज है उन्हें डिस्ट्रॉय करने लग जाता है, और जब उन्हें पूरी तरह से डिस्ट्रॉय कर देता है, जो फ्लेक्स के जो स्टेम होते हैं उन्हें वो एक फाइबर लाइक टाइप में कन्वर्ट कर देता है, और इस फाइबर को हम यूज करते हैं हमारे क्लोथ्स या लिनन के क्लोथ्स बनाने के लिए. ओके, now we'll be discussing some harmful effect of bacteria. You know, of course, some bacteria are also harmful to us. Mostly they are parasitic in nature and they causes various type of diseases. As I have told you that there are many types of dangerous human diseases which are caused by bacteria like typhoid, tuberculosis, pneumonia, diphtheria, leprosy. So these are the types of diseases which are caused by a bacteria. And you know, it also spoils the foods and vegetables. You know, bacteria can also spoil milk by curdling. हर बार हमें दही नहीं जमाना होता है ना, कभी कभी दही दूध खराब हो जाता है. So what happens that दूध खराब हो जाता है? It happens because the presence or there is a multiplication of bacteria or lactobacillus bacteria is there. Okay, now there is a fact site given in your book, that is the microorganism which causes diseases are called pathogens. जो डिजीज कॉज करते हैं बच्चा, उन माइक्रोऑर्गेनिज्म को हम पैथोजेंस कहते हैं. ठीक है, so this completes a topic bacteria. Now we'll be doing the next topic. The next topic which we are going to study is your nitrogen cycle. Now students, as I have told you that there are some uses of bacteria. So this nitrogen cycle is only possible due to the presence of some bacteria. Okay, that's why this is included in this chapter of yours. You know, our atmosphere is a mixture of gases, and the main gas which consists in our atmosphere, in our air, is nitrogen. You know, 78% of that air is consists of your nitrogen. Okay, and this is the most abundant gas which is present in the air. You know, however, these plants cannot use this nitrogen directly, okay, in this free form. They have to be converted. So how can they convert it? You know, this leguminous plants, as you can see, there's an image given in your book regarding this root nodules of your legume crop. So nodules, what happens, that this is, suppose this is the root. Okay, suppose, let me draw. Okay, and here some this type of nodules are there in the leguminous plants, and this nodules, they help to fix the nitrogen, that is the atmospheric nitrogen, into the nitrogen which can be used by the plants. Okay, so these are the nodules, root nodules, which can help into the fixation of their. What happens, ये जो nodules होते हैं ना बच्चा, एक symbiotic relationship में रहते हैं with the bacteria, and the name of that bacteria is Rhizobium bacteria. Okay, so what happens, this Rhizobium bacteria is present in the root nodules of your legume crops like peas and soyabeans and etc. And they fix this nitrogen, that is free nitrogen which is present in your atmosphere, in your air, and change it into ammonia. Okay, and which is used by the plants. And this conversion of your atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia is called nitrogen fixing. Now what happens, students? You know, plant absorbs this nitrogen, that is ammonia, which is formed by this Rhizobium bacteria, and store them in their tissues, okay, as a plant protein. एक प्लांट के प्रोटीन की तरह इसे स्टोर कर लेंगे एंड दे कैन बी यूज्ड बाय दिस plant. After what happens sometime, this protein is eaten or is passed on to herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous animals. Herbivorous animals suppose अगर वो root खा लेते हैं so उनके body में गया, और herbivorous animal को किसी carnivorous animal में खा लिया तो वहाँ चले गया. An omnivorous animal can eat herbivorous, that is they can eat plants also, they can eat animals also. So what happens, they enter into the stages of other animals also. Once these animals die out, what happens, their body are started to decomposed, and where the body started to decompose by a special bacteria, and this nitrogen compound which they have in their body, it again converted and returned to the soil. जब वो soil में वापस लेते हम bury करते हैं ना animals को, और humans को भी bury करते हैं कुछ religions में, so क्या होता है, आपके जो body के वो होते हैं माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स क्या करते हैं, उन्हें डिकम्पोज करना स्टार्ट करते हैं बैक्टीरिया, और वो क्या करते हैं ग्राउंड में वापस उनके जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स है वो वापस ट्रांसफर हो जाते हैं. उनके लिए भी एक स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ बैक्टीरिया होते हैं जो क्या करेंगे, अब जो नाइट्रोजन हमारी बॉडी में थी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अमोनिया और इन द फॉर्म ऑफ नाइट्रेट्स, इट इज अगेन कन्वर्टेड इनटू फ्री फॉर्म ऑफ नाइट्रोजन एंड इट इज अगेन रिलीज बैक इनटू योर एयर. So this is one of the cycle. Now what happened, this way your atmospheric nitrogen continuously move between the soil and the organism, and this is called your nitrogen cycle. As you can see, there is an image given in your book of the nitrogen cycle. Okay, you can see that there's two processes, there's nitrogen fixation is going, and on the other side there's denitrification is going. What is denitrification? The conversion of the nitrates or the ammonia into free nitrogen is denitrification, and what is nitrogen fixation? That is the conversion of free nitrogen into ammonia is nitrogen fixation. Okay, so you can see how this denitrification bacteria and nitrogen fixing bacteria works on the nitrogen cycle. So this is how the nitrogen cycle is possible in nature. So this is the exact definition of the nitrogen cycle can be, it is a cyclic flow of atmospheric nitrogen between the soil and the living organism before returning to the atmosphere again. You know students, lightning also play a very major role in this fixation of nitrogen. You know, under lightning only this nitrogen fixation can be done, and it can form this nitrogen oxides and enter the soil and form nitrates. Okay, so this is the use of lightning during lightning. So you can see in the image also there is a cloud which has this lightning symbol. So lightning is very necessary for the plants or for the process of nitrogen fixation. Now there's an activity given in your book. It's a very simple activity. You have to visit a farm or a garden society or any garden which is close by you. What you will be doing, you will be seeing the legume plants which are growing and ask the farmer or your gardener कि भाई कोई एक plant अगर आप uproot कर सकते हैं तो मुझे उसकी roots दिखाइए. And on these roots you will finding this nodules. Okay, this completes the topic of nitrogen cycle.